Duchess is really, I've got to study her nervous system. My next guest taped a 90-minute show with me a little less than a year ago. Can't be that long. No, quite a lot less than a year ago. Like a week ago. No, sometime anyway. They said at that time that they might come back and sing sometime. There was so much to talk about that the taping actually ran on beyond the 90 minutes, and we ran some of it on a later show. And anyway, they have kept their promise, and I'm grateful because not only is it interesting to see them perform, but they are involved in a crucial court case here in New York, which will determine whether or not they can remain in the country or whether they face deportation back to England. Will you welcome, please, John and Yoko Lennon. I'll bet you don't have the nerve to say that out, what you said to me.
Tireless in Gaza. You got to know that book, otherwise it's no good, is it?
Is that a favorite book of yours?
It was a good book, yeah. I forgot. Aldous Huxley wrote it, that's it. I got
yes.
my notes on
What a terrible pun. Nice to see you.
It was a nice book.
Nice to see both of you. Let me
Same to you.
I didn't see you backstage at all. I wasn't avoiding you. I wasn't...
we were rehearsing and you were putting your tie on.
I was doing whatever it is that I do.
I was watching you talking, Dick, and it's beautiful, you know, what you believe in
what's
and
his
all
name?
that.
Now, wait a minute.
You say it, John. You're leaving anyway, right?
I thought it said McCartney.
McCartney, you thought it said?
I've got short, bad eyes.
Somebody who can govern very well, it sounds like.
We have to, watch yourself, watch yourself.
Yeah, forget it.
Say you're not fat. I couldn't help noticing that you're
malted
not...
milks.
Well,
even though I eat malted milks, I'm
yes,
not putting
that's
on
his
too much
diet.
weight.
Huh?
I'm a freak for malted.
There's a rumor going around that you had gone practically overboard, as we say in America, on malted milks.
I know, you see, well, we don't have things like that in England, and so most kids eat like it here, not adults, right? But I'm crazy for it. You often see me down at Nathan's sucking on a malted.
What do they have in your poor underdeveloped country?
Well, they have sort of not as many ice creams and, you know, lousy milkshakes.
Curds and whey, a lot of that.
Yeah, really sort of, you know, plastic stuff.
Yeah.
And I really dig it, you know. I was on cheeseburgers, but I got over them. A round of applause for cheeseburgers.
You have to be...
Never gonna
Breadfruit.
get over TV.
TV, he likes it. What's he doing?
Well, somebody flapped cheeseburgers. I thought we'd get around for breadfruit.
Yes, we have to be careful of your adolescent complexion, don't you, with these things?
Well, I do, you know, now 31.
Say happy birthday in the past.
Oh, thank you, yeah. We haven't seen you since then.
You went way over 30 sometime.
Yeah,
right?
31 and rising.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go back, though.
Why don't you tell him how you like the TV? You know, the thing is, you always say that, well...
The TV bit.
Even after...
Yeah, another thing about America is that you can, like in Europe, or especially where I come from, London, you have to choose if you want to go out for the evening, or go to a theatre, or go to a movie, or watch TV. But here you can do it all, you know, at any time of night. It's fantastic. Yeah. You don't realize how great it is. They send you to bed at 12 in London, or 10. And 12 is the latest it goes on at the weekend. If we're really lucky, we get a late night movie up till 12 or 12:30. And it's just boring, you know, because a lot of people in our business are just never get a chance to see anything.
Aren't you late sleepers anyway? Late, what's the opposite of rise? Late fallers?
In a way.
Late swingers, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And we just watch TV, and it's great, you know.
So you got very good reviews on your art exhibit. That was
Syracuse, yeah, that was
when
we were doing our plug that time.
Yeah.
We got accused of plugging too much last time.
Oh, did you see? I wonder, did you see Harrison when he was on here?
Yeah. What was he saying? Capital, you know. He started a riot with that thing.
Yes, he did a joke about you. Well, I should explain that.
Yeah, I saw it.
Harrison came on and he said, I want to plug, I forget what it was of yours, because he said there's something they forgot to plug.
Oh, yeah. That was nice of him, too. It was the album, probably.
Yeah.
Or whatever, I can't remember.
But I should have explained that. On that show, it did look like there were sort of 3 plugs in a row, but it's because we taped and then we had so much that we put it together out of sequence, and it looked like it looked like you.
I'm not ashamed of plugging because, you know, I mean, people come on to plug something, right? Everybody's selling something.
What we do, you know?
And it's not like
plug everything but presidents, right?
Yeah, sure, but I think you did it all right.
Yes,
you got
the message.
Lead in through clever.
What? Oh, no, you don't have to read that.
Oh, 11.
I'd like to know, I do want to know about the
About
thing
the
that's
case, yeah.
it's in the papers, yeah.
Hello, hello.
There's more than one show going on.
I
here.
know. Are they seeing a different show?
It's a two-ring circus. Someone may have tuned one of the monitors to another program up there.
It's not as surreal as last time. Last time was a bit fast, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like, ding, ding, we didn't know what was going on in between the commercials. None of us knew what we were talking about. It was going so fast because we were nervous, and he must have picked it up, and it was just like through the whole show.
We were
It's not
hyperactive.
exactly slow now, but
No.
it's all right.
So you want
it's
to
like-
tell him about
yes.
the case and
You
everything?
see, we're really frightened now because there's some people feel that we have to maybe leave this country, and that puts us in a position, especially for me, that I have to choose between my husband and my child.
Explain that. Why? Why you
Well-
got in that situation?
First of all, because, well, I have a child who's 8 years old,
American.
and she's an American citizen.
Yeah.
And we're trying to, we're looking for her in a way, because, I mean, we can't find her.
Shall I explain about Texas and everything quickly?
Right.
See, her former husband is American, and so is therefore her daughter is. And Yoko never took out American citizenship because she never needed it. She was here half her life. She was educated here, and then she married an American. And it never came up to change citizenship or anything. It was just always easy to come and go. She never thought of it. So when the divorce came, and there was no arrangement made for the child because at that time we were more amicable. The two ex-parties, but you know how things get, and they got worse and worse and worse until it came that we couldn't see Kyoko anymore. The child is called Kyoko. And we had been chasing her in Europe, and in Denmark, in Spain, in Hawaii, in America, back to Europe, this has been going on for 2 or 3 years. And finally we thought, oh, let's go to court in the place where the divorce was. That was in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So we went there, and we only just got in. At the last minute, immigration still hadn't given us a form to get in. And they told us you can have just enough time to go for the court case. And that was going to be 1 day. And we said, that's fine. But even as we got to the border, the thing hadn't come through. So we said to the man, look, they're expecting us, call Washington to let us in. We have a court case today. And I was still stuck in the British Virgin Islands because I couldn't get in. They let us in. We won the court case. And on the way in, they said, how long do you want? After they told me I could only have 3 days, I said, well, what have you got? They said, oh, 3 months. So I said, okay, I'll have 3 months. But as it happens, we finished the court case quickly. We got custody. We went up to New York, did a little sort of social business because our firm is up there, Apple. And then we went back to America, back to England. Next time we applied, somebody said, and these are all things you can't prove, because it's always, well, you didn't use your 3 months. You didn't use your 3 months. Why?
Well,
I said, well, you didn't want me to use, you weren't grateful to use your 3 months. So I said, well, I'm sorry about it, but we have to come back for the court case. So the court case was going on. There was a few different episodes in it. Finally, we got custody. But during that, her ex-husband, Tony Cox, opened a court case in Texas where his parents-in-law are, and he'd set up an establishment there, which for the first time in 2 years has set up a residence, and was carrying on a normal family life down there. And he chose Texas as then a forum to fight our case in the Virgin Islands. So then we had another case going, that was in Texas, so obviously we had to keep coming and going. And immigration was getting upset with us and saying, well, tell us when it's going to be. We said, we can't tell you, it's up to the judge when it happens, we've no control. So finally, as we start winning the case in Texas, Mr. Cox runs away with Kyoko again.
As usual.
So it's easy for somebody to go in court and accuse people like us in public of terrible things, and by the time we've waded through it all and said, no, we haven't done a damn thing, actually, all we're trying to do is talk to her. She hasn't spoken to her for a year. By the time the judge has seen through all the games, the man's run away again. They give us custody again, and this is temporary custody only if we bring the child up in America.
Because she's an American citizen.
Because she's an American citizen. The judge thought she should be brought up here, and we don't mind. We agree. We'd like to be here and bring her up. So, we have the 2 papers with custody, but we don't know where she is still. We haven't a clue where she is. She's in America somewhere. So we've no idea. We can't tell immigration or anybody when it'll be all over or when we know what's going to happen. And they began to say, intimate to us that we were using that as an excuse to go on Mike Douglas, Dick Cavett, and things like that. But all it is that we're not going to just sit in a box while we're in between court cases. We have to live our life, and to work is the only way we can keep our minds off it, because it's killing her. It's 2 years since she's seen her, and 1 year since she's spoken to her on the phone. And immigration's policy has always been not to split a family. So they're saying that seeing as Mr. Lennon is not eligible, because I was bussed in England in 1968, planted, by the way, but bussed. I pleaded guilty on lawyer's advice. She was 3 months pregnant and all that. It was a real drag, but I did it. And I paid my $100 fine or whatever it was. And then they say, well, because I'm not eligible, rather than split a family, although there's nothing against Yoko Ono, you'd both better get out. We're saying, but if you don't want to split a family, let us stay here, because our daughter's here. She has to choose between me and the daughter. And A, she doesn't know where the daughter is. We don't have a clue. We just know she's in America somewhere.
See, even if she's not in America, I really don't know where she is. But the thing is, from a mutual friend we've heard, and of course, you know, that's of course, the cleverest way, is that my ex-husband was saying that, well, all they have to do is hide and wait until we're kicked out, and then this will be a heaven for them, because they don't have to worry about us coming
we don't
in,
want to
because we
even
can never come here, you know.
Yoko always said in all the transcripts of the court cases, too, we don't want to take the child away from Tony.
No,
It's
I'm not a possessive
he's paranoid about it. He thinks we're big, powerful people that are going to do something to him, and we're not. We're saying it now if you're watching, and everybody can... There's nothing John and Yoko could do to Kyoko. We couldn't hide her anywhere like you because we're too famous. There's nowhere we can go. And Yoko always said in court and out of court, she thinks the child should have both parents, be able to see both parents.
Access.
And we don't care what kind of arrangement he wants to make, just so as the child does have the benefit of both parents.
But at the moment, you're split between either, well, as you said,
Well,
between choosing between your husband and
they're
your
saying no
child
matter
and
what,
your
you know, you're a criminal and you've got to go.
Well, let's talk some more about that.
And
That's
the
fair.
most
Excuse me,
depressing-
Yes,
Yoko,
go
because we have to take this pause now, and then we'll be back. Sorry.